we have more information available to us than any before. And the thing that gets clicks, the thing that sells is there's a war, there's an atrocity, there's a huge storm that shows that the planet is warming and we're all going to die. Like that's what people click on. But the positive stories, you don't really get them in there. And as I that go back and do a mental exercise of, okay, the 1990s, that was supposed to be the great time where everything was great. Go back and look at what actually happened in the 1990s, all the terrible, horrible things that happened in the 1990s. There are plenty of them. There's no shortage of them. It's about what you choose to focus your attention on. So even though the world can seem like it's going to hell, the world always seems like it's going to hell if you flit around looking at the places where things are the worst. The things that don't get the clicks are, oh, as you said, there's this new technology that might well, let's make it practical. A couple weeks ago, the WHO approved a new vaccine for malaria that is way more effective than the previous vaccine and that could literally transform life in sub-Saharan Africa. Like those sorts of stories are all out there if you go looking for them. So, yeah, for me, the takeaway, I imagine that in the 1890s and in the early 1900s or in the 1930s, that people were thinking with that level of angst. And yes, like terrible things did happen, but you got to the other side of it and we innovated on and we got through the other end. And if there's anything the human species has been able to do, it's been able to get over some of these challenges. I was in Boston last week talking to a group of Chilean executives. It was actually really good for me from like a psychological level in the midst of the Israel-Gaza war to go into a country or to dive deep into a country and say, this country has everything it needs. Like stop squabbling about all these political things, like just increase your R&D as a percentage of GDP and take advantage of your potential food and energy security and like you're off to the races. This is a positive story. You could be a leader of the pack. Like those stories are around if you look for them. And in some ways, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the geographies and the sectors that buck the trends here, the ones that are not getting the rivers of attention, but that will be the source of humanity's next triumph. That sounds kind of saccharine, but is that fair?